Well, shooting across Lake X this morning. I'm just going literally straight across the channel from the boat ramp here. There's a couple of cuts I hadn't fished yet, and they're pretty good sized cuts. A couple little creek channels that run up here, and we're going to try topwater right off the bat. Ready to run a gun, stop a blast off, and let's go. Morning, Bassin Buzz. Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. So, like I said, Lake X. I'm going to start on one cut. Kind of work on this little corner right here on this point. Work my way with the top water. Tail-weighted boy howdy. That's that gizzard shad color. I always like to add a little tail on my boy howdies, because it gives just that little bit of target for them to hit. I just threw up on a rock. Can you believe that? First cast of the day. See, I got Bill Dance beat. But anyway, I'll go over and get that. But yeah, I'm on a bluff here. I figured I'd go ahead and work this bluff until I get to the first cut, which is a little point with this boy howdy when I get it off this rock. And last time I was up here, last week, I did really good with the topwater bait right off the bat. So, we got another maybe 10 or 15 minutes for that sun just peeks over one of these little mountains here. Well, unless you live out west, it'd be a hill. But daggone, that sucker's wedged right in there. Golly. I tell you what, this is a good rock ledge right here, though. Good looking rock ledge. How in the world? There we go. Only me. That's okay though. I wanted to parallel this bluff anyway. So let's go ahead and hit this dude. See what we can do. Look there. First cast, guys. First cast. Holy cow. Holy, he comes again. Coming again. Guys, this is, oh gee whiz. You're not going to believe this. That fish is about 3 or 4 feet deep right off that bluff. Coming up again. Good golly. One thing about bass in this lake, they fight. Oh, he's got me doubled over. I just got 12-pound test on here. I don't want to horse him too hard. Ooh, I see him way down there. Oh, guys, he's big. That's my biggest bass in this lake yet. I'm netting this one because I don't want to take any chances. Ooh. Oh my gosh. This is, as far as I'm concerned, that's a freaking tank of a bass. Well, I'll have to use the pliers to get them off. Ow! When you use NRSTs, be careful. Daggone. 3 sets of treble hooks, man. I tell you, I just hooked him again. And he barely even rolled on it. There we go. Got it good. I know that. Look at that dude, guys. Golly. I just heard my GoPro go off. I forgot to change SIM cards. So I got that on video anyway, hopefully. Yeah. How about we cut this on first? Okay. £3. A little lean, but a good fish. Look at that. Thank you, darling. I love releasing them. Just to watch them go away. That's awesome. A lot of you guys say these old lures don't catch fish anymore. I'm just giving it a short little and I'll stop and I'll twitch it a couple of times. There's another one. Oh, it came off. Dang it. Did y'all hear that? It's about 2 pounds. Jumped out of the water and just threw it back at me. What's cool about a tail weighted boy howdy too is you can, after you jerk it a few times, you can let it sit there and you can just dawdle it. Yeah, look here. See that scale? Told y'all I had to hit that thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fish. I'll show you right here where I'm at. I'm gonna hit that first point. Then I'm gonna shoot straight across. Hit the other point with this top water. And then I'll work my way in. Because these are deep cuts. So I guess you're looking at me straight ahead for the day. Since I ain't got my camera back there. The beauty of filming for YouTube. So what I'm going to do, take me a sluggo. And what I've got is one of those little bait pegs on here that you get from like Harmony. And what I've got is the hook is not skin hooked. It's sitting right there. I got this on a loop knot, pre-rigged with about a 0 or number 1 black ball bearing swivel. I gotta go. One just busted right there. I'll show you what else I did with this bait. Anyway, to run this sluggo a little bit deeper, I took those little brass rods that you use to put rattles with. I put one through this sluggo and took a very small piece of nail weight, about maybe that long, and stuck it in there right between the slots, these two right here. See that? So it makes this bait fall this way just a little bit head first because of the hook, but it gives me a more level fall. And it keeps that sluggo from just looking goofy when you're jerking it. I can drop it right here beside the boat, and it just falls hook forward. I mean, barely. You know, these old CA80 Daiwas that I throw, I like these reels only because it's got the magnet right here on the side of the plate, not forward. Forward, I'm constantly adjusting it because I cast left-handed and palm it. So this finger is always hitting right in there. So the only reason I chose these reels is because it has a center pin drag system in it. That's the only reason. And they've been good reels. For $100, they've been good reels. But what I've got is I bought out the last of all the spools that Daiwa had in stock, because these are gone. So I got all different kinds of lines put on them. You won't believe what I have on this one. I've got DuPont Prime in the aqua fluorescent. That's what this is. But I do have a trilene green leader from my swivel to my sluggo, so it's not like it's super visible. But yeah, I'm a geek like that. I got a spool set up with clear blue strand from the 70s. The old DuPont strand. I've got some green prime that I keep on my lightning rods. Just if I ever wanted something fluorescent line, you know, you got stained water or you got a cloudy day. I've even got old Trimax and old Pro Select and photochromic. We used to throw that a lot in the late 90s. Back when I was tournament fishing, that's the line I threw, was photochromic, even in daytime. Still caught fish. And what I got here to experiment with is I got one of those Z-Man heads, you know, the weedless grub heads, but I've got on a Mr. Twister 4-inch tri-life grub. This is the green pumpkin shad. That's my favorite color in those grubs. It's just so natural looking in the water. So I thought, instead of a finesse worm or a slider, that I would throw that. And now it's looking like, I'm going to get my sunglasses out. I know you guys don't see my sunglasses very much, but actually I think just recently in the video I wore them for the first time. But when you got clear water like this, like I said last time, a little easy top. I would say I look like Billy Gibbons, but I sold my Les Paul, so there you go. And you know you're getting old, one, when you buy a lifetime fishing license. That's number one. But number two is when you're wearing bifocal polarized glasses so you can see your knots when you're tying them. Oh yeah, that makes me feel great. I didn't wear these for a long time because I felt like I had water at the bottom of my glasses. It was driving me nuts. But you know, over time I've gotten used to it. But it's just funny how that works, isn't it? Alright, so now I'm coming around the mouth of a little bit deeper section right here. And what I've got is a 6-inch Missile Baits quiver worm. I got this rigged up Nico style with a little 1/16 ounce weight on it. And I always throw a swivel about 4 or 5 inches away from it, because as you reel it in, this will twist your line. So you got to be real careful about that. I figured this would be a good, I'm sitting in 27 foot of water. It's a pretty good little bluff right here. So I figured why not try this little deal. So the next bait I have going out, got my stinky stuff, is a jig. And what I've got is I tied a 5/16 ball jig, because to me 5/16 is just a really good weight jig for me. It's in between the 1/4 and 3/8 thing. And one color for me that's really good in the summertime, I don't care, you know, slightly stained water to clear water in the summertime, is a green pumpkin purple kind of color. And so I did was, this is a you know, green pumpkin June bug mixed type skirt, and what I've got is a Missile Baits D-Bomb in the GP3, which is a green pumpkin clear kind of purple color. And what I'm going to do with this jig, that's a 40 strand skirt, silicone. And what I thought I'd do with this is just drag it along these rock. Alright, so now I got my crap cooker hat on. It's getting kind of bright out here. I've already had a little too much sun on my head and my neck already once this year or so. The other side of here has got a real steep bank. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work this shady side of it, see if there's anything on the shady side still. I'm still dragging that jig. Alright, so there's a balloon out here. Well, it's not really a balloon, it's like a ball. It's attached to a chain. A guy was telling me a couple of weeks ago up here that there was a rock ledge. Of course, not on the map. So I ran over it. You know, I just decided to come across the other side of the channel. The wind's actually starting to pick up a little bit now. But man, there's like a whole section which is like 4 foot and 5 foot out in the middle of the lake. And the rock pile's sitting down at like 8 to 13 feet. Some places it comes up to 5. So I thought what I would do, if I can get this to work, I've got a balsa, or a Black Label balsa tap out. It's about a 10-foot runner, 8 to 10 foot runner. Flat-sided crankbait, and that's just a really good looking bait. You know, it's a coffin bill, got a good foil finish on it. I love balsa baits. I like wood baits in general, period. Some of my favorite lures. But I thought I would come out here in the middle of nowhere, literally out in the middle of the lake, and I'll show you where I'm at. Like I said, it doesn't show anything on the graph. And the funny thing is, I've seen some fish breaking out here a little bit here and there. I didn't see none on the graph. So I thought I would come up and try this. I'm actually coming up 13 foot, 12, 11. I'm casting into the wind, which I don't like to do with a crankbait unless it weighs about a ton. I thought I'd come out here and try this. Oh yeah, bird's nest. You want a balsa bait out in the wind? That's not a very good deal. So I'm over here getting some stuff packed up. Figured I'd pull over in the shade, get everything put up so when I get back to the ramp I can just unload and be gone. So what did I learn today? Well, I learned one thing, that I'm not superstitious. First bass, or a bass on the very first cast. I bet a lot of you guys saw that. The first thing that popped in your head was, well, he screwed the rest of the day. I don't believe in stuff like that. And I've done it several times, you know, caught one on the very first cast. Especially something like that with top water. But you know, it wasn't but just a few minutes later I had another one hit and I lost it. So that kind of dispels that myth. But one thing about this lake, I'm starting to learn, is you get out here early. I mean, early. You get on that topwater bite quick. And I mean, hit it. You know, typical summertime, keep the boat moving. Throw topwater. And man, it's like a light switch. You don't see anything else busting the surface anymore. You know, we used to get that on the river with smallmouth. Topwater fishing at night. It cut on like a light switch, and it cut off like a light switch. And you had to go down, throw a spinnerbait or throw a jig. And all of a sudden, you hear something hit the surface, topwater's back on again. Fast and furious. I mean, it's crazy. But one thing about this lake that I'm starting to learn, is I do like this lake. One thing I have definitely noticed is about getting that topwater bite on, and then as soon as that's done, finesse fish. You know, I've spent all morning power fishing. I've been throwing, through the Sluggo. I threw, I consider Ned rigging power fishing, especially the 6.5 inch worm. Where's my other bag? Oh, here it is. I always carry a tool bag with you. Keep all my stuff in there, you know, plug knocker and all that kind of stuff whenever I need it. Don't necessarily need it here because it's mostly a rock lake. They ought to call this mini table rock. But nah, in all seriousness, it is a good lake. And there is definitely some good fish in here. But I'm learning it, and kind of putting my own stuff together, you know, as far as learning it. The map I have is, I would say, fairly accurate from what I've seen on the bottom. Yeah, if I put a cup holder in here. But I've done really well with sliders. I've done really well with topwater. So that makes you question. So what do I do? Topwater or sliders? Or what should I bring? Just topwater and sliders? Possibly. But those are my thoughts of the trip. You know, I did everything right. It's just that, you know, a lot of them are suspended, and you know, that would be, to me, that would be slider fishing. Because all the ones I've caught up here slider fishing so far pretty much have been suspended. And that's kind of a nice little deal. Back this thing up a little bit. But as far as what to carry in my box, it's definitely getting less and less. I find myself being very plug oriented. Plug oriented, you guys don't understand that term, meaning crankbaits, topwater, things like that, hard baits. I find myself really gravitating towards that, and the sliders. I saw plastics are almost getting down to nothing, to be honest with you. Almost down to nothing. But I'm gonna call it. Go ahead, head on back in. I got things to do at the house anyway. I usually do, don't I? I always say that. I got things to do at the house, which I do. And also, a safety note. For you guys that think I'm not wearing a life jacket, I do have one of these belt packs. See that? So I do have a belt pack on. So I am being safe. I'm just not a big fan of having all that stuff on there because it's got things that hang off of it, and the rod handle gets caught in that thing I'm trying to cast, and I don't like it. But I'm done gabbing. I was sharing my thoughts with you, what I thought about on the water today, because you really should do that. Every time you get done, think about what you did, what you didn't do, and the baits you have confidence in, and more likely the patterns you have confidence in. And there's one thing I've been learning the last couple of times. I haven't really paid attention to it, to be honest with you, but I have noticed and that is the way certain baits feel. That's very important, the way certain baits feel. You know, between jigs and worms and things like that. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of a heavy jig just because I don't like that heavy feeling as I'm working it. I just never been a fan of that. Doesn't mean I don't like it, it's just I'm just not a big fan of it. And I think it's interesting how certain jigs feel heavier than others when they're the same weight. I wonder why that is. Skirt material? Heavier drag in the water maybe? The trailer you choose? You know, that's a hard one to think of. So I've just been playing around with everything and just seeing what feels that I like, and just go from there. That's a learning curve. But anyway, like I said, I'm done gabbing, guys. Y'all tired of hearing me anyway. So got one really good one, and that's what matters. And lost another decent one too, a couple of pounds. That was definitely worth it. But I'm done here, guys. Glad you got to come with me. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my mouth. So until next time, guys, remember, new techniques are trendy, but bass never change. May the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name, and as always, fish on.